Paul Ryan lied. He did. Paul Ryan lied. His nose is growing right now. He lied, and his nose is growing because of it. He lied about the stimulus. He said that you know what? He voted against the stimulus in 2009, the Obama stimulus. And then months later, he asked for some money from the stimulus, even after he voted against it. But then, here's the best part. He lied about asking for this money. Some reporter asked him about it, and he said, "I never asked for the stimulus money," but he did. And then when shown the evidence, when shown the proof, the letter that had him asking for stimulus money, he said he tried blaming it on a staffer who worked for him. But then, of course, that was a lie too, because it turns out Paul Ryan signed it himself. He went and signed it. And then he lied again. He said the stimulus didn't work when it did. So Paul Ryan lied. He lied. He wrapped several lies into one story about the stimulus. So he's weird. Paul Ryan is. He reminds me of the, he's the type of person who would stand there, who like if there was like an important press conference or something, he's the type of person who would stand there bubbling, like what George Stephanopoulos did the one time, supposedly. Although that's never been confirmed about George Stephanopoulos, but there was supposedly one time George Stephanopoulos, not George Snuffleupagus, but George Stephanopoulos, supposedly one time he bubbled during a Clinton press conference. And then after it, Bill Clinton said, "You get slimed there, George." Supposedly that happened. But it may be just a rumor. But it's no rumor that Paul Ryan lied. There's probably on the internet, there's all sorts of stuff about this. But just like, oh, cool. The new email here, the Midwest Conference, the Occupy the Midwest Conference is coming up in Detroit. But, see, but even the Detroit News says that Paul Ryan was caught lying. It says, and not only that, he also lied about Medicare. But this website here for the Detroit News says, it's been less than a week and already Paul Ryan was forced to admit he repeatedly lied about making multiple requests for stimulus money. "I never asked for stimulus," he said. "I don't recall, so I really can't comment on it. I oppose the stimulus because it doesn't work. It didn't work." So that's two lies in one statement. And speaking of right-wing hypocrisy, somebody said something really funny on the internet. Some right-winger said something funny, because there's this town in California that has an Occupy. They have like an Occupy rally that's ongoing. And somebody wrote a letter to the paper complaining about it because it offends them. And then somebody responded, somebody on the internet responded to the letter to the editor, agreeing with it. And they said, Why should we as citizens put up with this?" And that's funny. "Why should we as citizens put up with this?" Because it's in the Constitution, perhaps? Because it's free speech and you're supposed to put up with it? So I'm going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. So I'm going to say, because why should Why should the citizens put up with this? Because it's in the First Amendment. Because, wait a minute, no, because the First Amendment, says so. Don't like it? There's always Russia. I'm going to put that. This is going to be a hit and run because I'm not going to follow the post. Why should the citizens put up with this? Because see, this is somebody who thinks, why should we put up with this? They said that. Why should we as citizens put up with Occupy? Reply, why should the citizens have put up with this? Because the First Amendment says so. Don't like it? There's always Russia. Reply. Follow. Unfollow. They're never gonna know what hit them because this is some county in California, some town in California. And some Occupies never cause any problems at all, and yet, why should we as citizens put up with this? Okay. But Paul Ryan, he's like the type of guy who would sit there breakdancing and going like he's like probably back when he was growing up, he was probably the kid who would sit there breakdancing, and then after he would go on Ronald Reagan. Like that. Like back in our day, you always remember the kid who would do something like that. But now all he is just a politician who lies a lot. But let's see. And well, there's all these spam posts also in here. There's this letter to the editors followed up by a bunch of right-wing spam posts. So I reported them to Facebook. Thank you for your feedback. This, not like Facebook's going to do anything about it, but it's always worth annoying Facebook over it. And let's see. They aren't even there most of the time. That's the funniest part. They aren't even there most of the time. Well, they don't have to be. So that's Paul Ryan and Occupy.